Bum 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 ba da da dum ba bum ba dum ba ba dum bum 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 ba dum bum 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 ba da 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 ba da 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 ba da 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 da. Hello, hello, friends. I see my old friends here. Good evening, Deborah from Bel Air Beach in Rachna. Can you hear me? The sound is good. 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 Well, it's particularly important that that I get this right tonight because normally my husband is right here with me, but he's not here tonight. So I'm doing this on. Okay, I'm running again. All righty. Let me know that you can hear me, dear friends. Let me know that I'm getting through because I'm doing this by myself tonight. And that little pause that I get is something that happens every day. I get that pause on an internet pause on my desktop. I don't understand it. Let's see. Here we go. All right, now we're going again in Facebook and in Mighties. So, good evening. My name is Joette Calabrese, and I'm here to teach you homeopathy. I've been using homeopathy and studying it for 35 years. And I've also been in practice for, I don't know, 29, I think. I really lose count. And so I want you to see that little gap there. It's 6 years before I actually started to practice, other than on my family and my dogs and cats and goats and chickens and ducks and bees, etc. But I'm here to teach you because I love doing this and because it is extremely important that we get this information out now more than ever. I know you know that. I don't have to repeat that time and again. So for those of you who don't know me, I do this every Monday night, and for the last many months, and this is what it looks like. So if you are new and you know nothing about a materia medica, this is mine. I'm going to open it up so that you can see. And we in following that, I'm teaching you remedies. Here we go. Got the pages sticking out there. Materia medica. You can purchase this through my website. And this is a very simple materia medica. It was done by design that I wanted it to be very simple because there are very complex materia medicas, and I fear that for people who are new to homeopathy, that when they see something that's too complex, it becomes overwhelming and they give up. But this is um, intended to help people who are fairly new to homeopathy, and then they can graduate into more complex materia medicas. So tonight we're going to be talking about a remedy that is for itching, and as I wrote in my tickler on Facebook, I wrote itch, itch, scratch, scratch. Here's the medicine I most often turn to for itchy skin, nearly no matter the diagnosis: rashes, dry skin, psoriasis, and plenty more. Join me this Monday night. As you know, I work every Monday night doing this. So you can see that we have finished the materia medica, and now we're going back and starting on those medicines, thanks to the help of someone in our group who was, let's see, who is it? Let's see if I can find her name. Excuse me for doing that. Um, what is her name? Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. Carrie noted the medicines that I didn't cover that are in my Materia Medica and gave me a list. So I've got it right here, which is very helpful, and I'm going to go through it. So we're not starting over in the Materia Medica. We're just going over those medicines that I've not taught in the past from this platform. So the medicine we're going to talk about tonight is antimonium crude. Ant crude is the shortened version, but antimonium is spelled Antimonium. And the second word is crudum, Crudum, antimonium crudum. So it's black sulfide of antimony, or antimony. I think it's antimony. And it is one of our best medicines for skin. Now, I'm going to read from my Materia Medica because I think that I'm not sure I remember why I skipped this. It was back in 2019 when we started going through my Materia Medica week after week. So, but I'm not sure I know why I skipped this, but I'm going to read from my Materia Medica so that you have a good idea. The use of this medicine has revolutionized my practice and teachings. Until I met the Doctors Banerjee around the year 2010, I had used other homeopathic medicines that have a history of addressing itchy, eruptive skin, such as sulfur, Psoriasis, Nat Mur, Arsenicum album, and a few others. However, the addition of this medicine, antimonium crude, has made a significant difference in the number of corrected cases that I've witnessed. It can be especially powerful when put to work alongside Arsenicum album, and I'll talk about that in a moment, and perhaps later further uprooted the condition or the propensity for the condition, tuberculinum or psoriasis. So if you're unfamiliar with those remedies, somebody I'm sure is going to write them down. I'm looking now to see what we've got going on here. And so tuberculinum and psoriasis are often the medicines we use to complete the case. So this is a that is a dynamic duo. That is antimonium crude combined with arsenicum album. That means taken in the mouth at the same time. Either it's manufactured in that potent or that formula, antimonium crude mixed with arsenicum album, and you just put the dose into the mouth. Or if you don't have that, you put the dose in the mouth of each one within seconds of each other. Okay, so let me also say that this medicine is also really excellent for anxiety. So if there's anxiety in relationship to skin rashes, that could be a call for this medicine. And so I want you to remember that it's not necessary, as you know, as I've been teaching you all along. And there is one aspect of a case, or excuse me, of a remedy that doesn't fit. It doesn't mean, or even two or three, we don't have to have every single symptom that the medicine has been known to listed in this person's suffering, because my gosh, that would be horrible, wouldn't it? So, let me read a little bit further. I've got some other information that I want to share with you. I wrote again in my Materia Medica, reading from it. I caution you: don't discount this powerful medicine simply because the person doesn't have accompanying mental, such as the anxiety or even gastric symptoms, because there are gastric symptoms associated with this as well. Now, I find this a really interesting medicine. The A's, arsenicum, anacardium, antimonium crude, are great remedies for what would we say, from someone who overeats. Okay, and they eat in spite of not really being all that hungry. So I want you to remember that. It doesn't mean we're going to jump on that as our first use for this medicine. There are others, but I do want you to think about that, because if you see someone who overeats and in addition to that has a skin eruption or itching, rash, etc., then that might help you distinguish between using this and, say, another medicine such as, say, sulfur, psoriasis, etc. All righty. Let's get back to the skin. There are other aspects of this medicine, but the way that I use this, especially for the last I don't know, 11, 12 years is to use it for skin conditions because it's so amazing. There are cracks on the outer corners of the mouth, and skin rashes respond well to this remedy, especially those that thicken the skin or affect the area around the nostrils. So let's remember this for around nostrils. Canker sores can be helped with this. Painful warts on the feet or hands, corns, especially painful corns, I have to add. Calluses also respond well, and the feet will often be very tender and sensitive, although there are also cases of surprising absence of pain despite the presence of painful looking sores. Additionally, fingers and toenails may appear brittle and misshapen. Now, how do we use this medicine? Um, the Banerjees taught me to use it in a 200 potency or a 6. I very rarely use it in any other potency. And when we mix it with arsenicum, it's the same thing. We use it in 200 or a 6. And so when we mix them together or when they're purchased that way, now I don't know that you can purchase them from anyone other than OHM. And the only way you can purchase from OHM is if you are a student or a client of mine. So if you don't have access to them, then you may find that you're going to have to buy two separate medicines and mix them in the mouth. All right, let me just see. Back now. Okay, so I got that internet hops. I hop off of it every night, just around this time. Good, very good. Coming through clear. Good, everyone's saying yes. Well, it's nice to see everyone. Lizzie and Julie and Diane from Baltimore and Greg, wonderful, and Maria, Thomas. It's so nice to see everyone. Sylvia, hi, everyone. It's really great. And Harry, hi, Harry. Okay, so Christy says antimonium crude such a great remedy. We use it for warts, molluscum, and fever blisters. You bet. Yes, for fever blisters, it's also very useful for that as well. And Molluscum contagiosum, which is their type of warts, very common in children. Scares the wits out of people because they hear that terrible name of it. They're calling it Molluscum contagiosum. In case you haven't been able to figure this out, medical terms are often frightening. Maybe it's because they're unknown to us or they sound foreign to us when we first start getting involved in this kind of information. Um, or maybe sometimes I wonder if that's not all, but sometimes they go too far in making it sound too recherche, as I always say, and delete, and it makes it a little bit frightening. So I like using antimonium crude 6, and when we do it, I use it twice daily, particularly when there's a cold sore. That's one of my favorite ways to do it is in a 6 twice daily. And also for the same thing for such as Molluscum contagiosum, we can use a 6, antimonium crude 6 twice daily. And for itching and rashes, sometimes I use them both arsenicum and antimonium crude in a 200 potency. And usually I choose the higher potency when the rash or the severity of the case is greater. In other words, it's more intense, it's more sweeping, it's making a huge dent to carry on in their lives were intended to. When the skin gets that bad, it's that severe, we know that we might want to consider going a little higher potency, but I don't know that it's absolutely necessary. So if you we find that 6x of both arsenicum album and antimonium crude mixed together twice daily is a capital medicine. All right, let's see if I can, let me just take a look at my friends on Facebook and see what kind of questions we have there. I find that for cold sores that I would be more apt to use it in the lower potency, my friends. I would stay a little bit lower, okay? 6x. Okay. And with problems with grain and wine cause headaches, would antimonium crude help? I suppose it could help, but I'm not sure I know what the rationale would be. That's not a medicine that I necessarily think of for those conditions, because what we're talking about are headaches, and food intolerances, not rashes, and skin conditions. And so what we're talking about, maybe this person is asking because she's thinking or he's thinking that this is related to issues with too large of an appetite, eating too frequently. No, there are medicines that are combination medicines where you can find all kinds of things online, and some of them are for appetite suppressant, homeopathic appetite suppressants. I have tried them all because dieting and weight is of course a problem for everyone, including myself, and so I've tried them all. I find that antimonium crude is often combined in these medicines. Usually, these combination medicines have maybe 6, 8, 10 medicines mixed together, and they're usually low potencies, like a 3x or 3C, a 6x, 6C, that kind of thing. But I mean, if anyone has had any luck with it, certainly pass it along. I find that when it comes to weight gain, it has, not for everyone, it has more to do with the age, of course, and hormonal situation. And I also am going to be very bold and tell you that I have worked with many people regarding weight gain or trying to get some loss of weight. And I don't see the connection. I'm sorry. I know this is going to be blasphemous. I don't see the connection with working out. I'm sorry. I just don't. I can't tell you the number of people that I work with, especially women, who start working out and eating the same amount, and they don't lose weight. But if they fast from time to time, or they do intermittent fasting, or they change the foods they're eating, or we work on the thyroid, or we work on the gut, that's when they lose weight. So as much as I think that going for a nice long walk is an excellent idea, I think working out for hours a day or an hour every day at a certain age is really, I'm going to be honest, I think it's superfluous. Um, so if we're talking about working out, I would say that it's much better to do something like dance. Do something that's fun, tennis, dance, yoga, things that you enjoy. Working out just to lose weight, and putting up with a routine that's, I swam a mile a day for months and didn't lose anything. I'm with you. I swam a mile a day for many, many months and never lost any weight. I felt good. I felt accomplished. I loved it. But yes, intermittent fasting is fantastic. Now, I find that intermittent fasting also has to. I'm sorry to go off on this tangent, but while we're here, let's have a little fun. Um, I find that with intermittent fasting, you lose a little weight in the beginning, and then you have to go more extreme. You have to be more radical by the time you get to about 50s, 60 years old, etc. You have to start missing, a whole 24 hours instead of eating, only in the evening. And you have to go for, excuse me, more than 24 hours. You have to go to 36, 48 hours. Yes, the government lied again. It's not calories in versus calories out. There's much more to it. You bet. Absolutely. It's hormonal, it's age, it's many, many other factors. I sex or 6C in both antimonium crude and arsenicum, usually a C, because that's what's mostly available in our world today. I don't find X is very common anymore, except for maybe cell salts, and even those cell salts are hard to get a hold of these days, and from the ones that we used to have so ubiquitously that were manufactured by Highlands. No, I don't see that it helps bunions. Somebody else asked about toenail fungus. I have not seen it. I mean, yes, I have seen it help with toenail fungus, but it's not my first choice. Something that looks like okay, toenails and skin and feet are thickened, and toenails just gradually disappear. I mean, is it worth a try? You bet it is. But remember, if you're trying a medicine, one of these homeopathic medicines, and you find that it's not working over a long period of time, give it many weeks, see and we're looking for a little tiny change, or that you start getting symptoms, you're working on toenails, and suddenly not suddenly, perhaps a rash begins to appear. Then you know that it's not the right medicine. It's time to stop. Yes, I'm happy to hear that this will help for Molluscum Contagiosum for your family. Absolutely. And let me also say, here's something that's interesting. Monica says, laying it out on the table, antimonium crude 6 plus arsenicum album 200. I have mixed it that way too. Helped my husband's toenail fungus and peeling feet, athlete's foot. Yes, it can help with that. And mixing them in that fashion so that it's a 200 and a 6. Very interesting that works that way, isn't it? I love there are combinations that seem to work better for some things and not for others. So let's just see. I knocked out my molluscum in 1 month, says, I think it was, who said that? Christy? Beautiful. That's a gorgeous thing. Would it be worth trying for calluses? It would be worth it. It would be worth it. But there are other medicines, and I cover, if it doesn't act, I always urge folks that if these medicines that I discuss on Facebook Live and in the Mighties, then go to the skin course. My skin course covers it. It's all online. It's a very, very in-depth course on what to use for all skin conditions. And I hate to be the bearer of the bad news, but everyone will have a skin condition at some point in their life. It's inevitable. We are carrying Highland cell salts. They are available. Antoinette, give us your link, please. Yes. Yeah, they're harder to get, these Highlands cell salts. But I understand that they were coming back. I think the company was sold. I would love to know if anyone has. I have not dug into it. I mean, I really haven't had the time to check out what's happened with Highlands, but I understood that they were sold. All right. Let's just see what else we've got here. Government lied about everything. The government has always lied about everything. Let's just see. We've been battling molluscum for months, so grateful. Okay. All right. Let's see if we've got. All right. Would this work for ringworm? It's worth a try. It's not my first choice. When I take Cinna 6 for parasites, I get a rash on my neck. Does antimonium well, here's something that I want you to know that I learned differently in classical homeopathy. I learned that if you take a homeopathic medicine and something comes from it that was not the intention, such as what was just described, I take Cinna 6C for parasites, reports this person, and Anne, and she says, and then I get a rash on my neck. I was trained that means you stop the medicine, but I am going to renege on that. I'm not sure I ever actually taught that, but if I did, please excuse me, because what I've found in my practice, and really this comes with a lot of experience, that if let's say the rash on the neck is mild, and meanwhile the antimonium crude is working Cinna is working so well, we're not even talking about antimonium crude, but Cinna is working so well for parasites, then either the person puts up with it because it's not a big deal, it's just a little rash, or if it's bad enough and the Cinna is working so well that we don't want to forsake it, then I suggest that we treat the condition that comes from using Cinna. Yes, I know that sounds blasphemous. I like to be blasphemous. You bet. Here we go. Antoinette says, we have it in our store, Healthy Connections, East Avenue, Oklahoma, Iowa. And she left a phone number. Um, all righty. We still have Highlands at Sprouts. Oh, here we go. And Jimbo's in San Diego. Okay, so apparently it's just not sweeping across the nation. And there are places that are without it. So let's just see if we can get some more questions in from Facebook. I'm kind of rebooting it. And let's see if we can get some more in here. Question about the materia medica in general. When looking up a particular remedy for particular symptoms, should we look at what's listed for each of the categories, mind, sin, skin, GI, etc., or just in the relevant category? I think what you might be describing is not a materia medica, but a repertory. So I don't know how to answer that unless you want to write back again and see if that's something you want to correct. Yes, Merry Christmas. Happy holiday. Yes, you bet. Yes, thank you, Harry. Merry Christmas. Let's see if we've got any other questions here. Dry, cracked heels. Dry, cracked heels. And so Marguerite says dry, cracked heels are often serinum and, excuse me, petroleum. And serinum can also be used, but petroleum 200C. Now, I want you also to know that dry, cracked heels can often represent something going on with the thyroid. So I'm not going to say automatically, oh, that means we need to use a thyroid medicine. No, what it means is that we look at the thyroid. And if there are other indications that there's hypothyroidism, such as the labs that the endocrine testing that's done, or it's pretty clear that there are problems with the thyroid because there's hair fall that's extensive and dry skin, lateral loss of the eyebrows, etc., then we can start looking at that as well. But I wouldn't skip over and just treat the thyroid. I would certainly stick with the medicine that we know works for the specific condition, which comes back to cracked heels, is often petroleum. All right. No, antimonium crude, I don't see it, and is not specific to any particular part of the body. I see that it's rashes just about anywhere, skin issues just about anywhere, skin issues that are itchy or painful, corns on the feet. All right, let's just see what's going on over here. All righty. I think we have got it down. So next week, we're going to carry on. We are going to carry on to the other medicines that I skipped over in the Materia Medica, which will give us a few more weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 15, 12 weeks. That'll put us into good stead, and we'll be well into the second quarter. Actually second quarter of the year. And so we'll from there we'll go on and we'll keep studying as long as I can do this, and as long as you want to do this, I will be here for you. So with that, my friends, I'm going to say good night, and I wish you all a very beautiful, healthy, but more importantly, a holy Christmas with your family and friends. God bless you all. Take care.